Welcome back to Squelch, the Video Game Book Club. I'm Dano.
I'm Matt at Arms.
And I'm Storm Rage. And we're here to remind you that Dragon Age Origins is a game, and games are supposed to be fun. And it's time for the final battle of Dragon Age Origins as we wrap up Dragon Age Origins in its entirety this week. And next week we dive into Dragon Age Awakening, the DLC that bridges Dragon Age Origins to Dragon Age 2.
I
Got a lag spike there.
Yeah, so you said you said we're moving on to Dragon Age Awakening for 3 weeks? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Great. Love that. Cool.
Yes. Thanks, Internet.
That might be a me problem because we have a big old storm coming in. So buckle up, friends.
I got it too. So
okay, great.
It's probably
great.
It's a Storm Rage problem.
All right, so this
Cool.
episode is going to be amazing. I am super excited about this episode. In fact, we may be doing this entire podcast arc because I wanted to do this episode right here, and then also this same episode for Dragon Age 2. But this episode that is so fun for Dragon Age 2 happens earlier, but there's also... I'm super excited for this episode. That's all I'm saying. I love the final battle of Dragon Age Origins. I think it's great. I love it. Should we go thank some patrons?
I vote yes.
Okay.
I also vote yes.
Thanks. I am pretty incredible.
Thank.
Thank you so much, patrons and Twitch subs. Your support keeps this podcast ticking. If you want to support the show, you can head over to twitch.tv/DanoPlay. The O is a 0 because I'm cool. Or patreon.com/squelch. $5 and above, and you get the podcast. That is recorded. It's usually on a Sunday, sometimes on a Monday, though. And if you're a Twitch sub or if you are a patron of any level, you get Squelch After Dork, which is our podcast after the podcast, which Storm Rage is trying very hard to turn into a wrestling podcast.
I'm getting there. I don't have one this week, but I'm getting there.
Yep. Main event's in a couple weeks, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is the main event the NBC thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Saturday night main event on NBC.
We don't need to talk about the other premium live event happening this month, or is it next month?
The King of the Ring?
Yeah. That's in Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably won't talk about that one. I'll probably watch it, and I'll probably feel bad, but we probably won't talk about it.
Yeah.
All right, should we hop into a quick lore and then get right into the recap? I feel like we don't need to do a lot for lore because if you don't know who our characters are by this point, I don't think you're necessarily paying attention, which is fine. Like, no shade. You don't have to pay attention. I'm not judging.
I mean, if you really need it, just listen to last week's because it'll be exactly the same.
Very similar, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, here we go.
This one's a real page-turner.
But I do want you, Matt, to tell us what we did last week in 74 seconds or less.
Sure. So last week we did the Landsmeet where the Earl of Denerim was a real jerk to us, just in general. So then we snuck into his estate to rescue the queen and ended up killing a few of his buddies and got arrested. So instead of fighting our way out of being arrested, we just went to jail and broke out of prison with Alistair, and then in the process foiled a nice rescue plan by Leliana and Morrigan, who met us at the door. We then went into the Elven Alienage where we blew off some beggars, because that's what I did. I now regret that because that sounded pretty cool.
It was so good. It was so good. It made me one of the top 5 best parts of the game.
And I had plenty of gold left over at the end of the game. So why not? So then we blew off some beggars and then dragged a blind guy into a haunted house where he immediately died before anything happened, and then broke up a smuggling ring. Oh, and then then after we got back from that, we tried to get Alistair and the Queen to hook up at the Landsmeet, but that didn't happen. She ended up betraying us. So we killed her dad and crowned Alistair and locked her away in a tower.
Go ahead.
I love that you've decided, instead of like recapping what we talk about,
No.
you've recapped what you played,
Yes.
which is a very different recap.
I love that your scuffed playthrough is now the canonical playthrough. The Templar died before the end. You couldn't get Alistair and the Queen married. You made Alistair the king. Let's see. You tried to break out of prison with Alistair, and then foiled a rescue plan.
Yeah. We just met him at the door. They they were just starting, and while we were running out the door, it was great.
So good. It's the best one yet. Well, it was amazing as we played the same game but had completely different experiences.
Yeah, that's why this game's great.
It is.
Yeah,
why
all
this
three
game
of
is
us had very different experiences last week.
I'm still sad for you, Storm Rage. I'm still sad for you.
I was talking to my partner about, I was like, hey, I'm going to go record Squelch. And she was like, oh, what are you guys talking about this week? And I was like, we're wrapping up Dragon Age Origins. And she was like, oh, so when do you get to play the game again? And I was like, oh, soon, hopefully, once we hit Dragon Age 2.
Very soon. I think we're going to... So... We have 3 episodes of Awakening left, but I think we're going to start playing Dragon Age 2 as a crew here pretty soon because we're going to start recording that so we can kind of like pre-release some stuff. So, yeah, I think we'll play video games very soon, which I'm excited about for you.
Fingers crossed.
this one will play just fine, I promise.
I did beat the new game plus of Armored Core 6, and I beat The Wolf Among Us. So I'm having a great time playing games that we are not talking about.
That's fantastic. I finally started playing Darkest Dungeon 2, and that is a completely different game from Darkest Dungeon. Like, It's Darkest Dungeon, but there's going to be a whole other podcast that's going to be recorded. That's going to be released one week when we don't have when we need like a blank week. I got to talk about it. I just got to talk about it. But that is not today. We are talking about Dragon Age Origins. Let's get into the recap.
Duncan, are your men ready for battle?
They are, Your Majesty.
Thanks, Duncan. I was like, I say something here. What do I say here? I could look at the show notes, but I was like, I can vibe through it. Turns out I can't. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what happened in this week. The Landsmeet is complete, so it's time to head back to Redcliffe, which is where the Darkspawn are definitely headed. The village and castle are overrun, so we've got some Darkspawn to kill. Easy peasy. This endgame sure does seem a little, maybe too easy. We head into Redcliffe Castle, and you're probably thinking it is time for the final battle, right? Well, wrong. We have things that need to be talked about the night before the battle. First things first, Riordan wants to have a chat with us. You remember him, right? He's the Orlesian Grey Warden who we rescued from Arlhau's dungeon. He tells us that only one person can kill an archdemon, and that person is a Grey Warden. When an archdemon is killed, its essence will possess the nearest darkspawn, which sort of makes it impossible to kill, because you have to kill it with no darkspawn anywhere nearby in any stretch, and that's just not going to happen. There's too many darkspawn around. There's too many things. That's where the Grey Wardens come in. If a Grey Warden is the closest thing, the Archdemon's essence will possess the Grey Warden and get stuck. This will kill the Grey Warden, but will also destroy the Archdemon. Riordan goes on to tell us that the most senior Warden on the scene will usually sacrifice himself, because he is the coolest. He is the closest, and also the coolest, I might suggest. He is the closest to going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because of the Darkspawn Tane, which slowly drives Grey Wardens mad. The most senior Warden in this case is Riordan. Whew, that means we don't have to die. Surely nothing is going to happen to Riordan, forcing us into an impossible choice. Anyway, off to bed we go! But before we get there, Morrigan wants us to have a little talky-talk with us. She wants to have a baby, good for her. She goes on to say that she wants to have a baby with a Grey Warden as a father. Okay? She says that if we do all the make a baby stuff with her, which I assume is just write a letter to a stork, she can capture the very essence of the archdemon in that bun in the oven, and since it is a very small bun, it won't hurt the baby at all. In fact, it will have the soul of an old god without the darkspawn taint. If the main character is a lady warden, you will have to talk to Alistair or Loghain into doing the deed. If you tell her no, she will leave and not take part of the final battle. We will also condemn one of the wardens to death. So, what did people choose here? I would have chosen, because my entire game revolved around making Morrigan happy, doing whatever she asked of me.
What did
I
you do,
slapped
Matt?
that yes button hard. I was like, yes.
Oh,
Go. Let's
did
go.
you?
I was like, yes. I didn't want to, like, force Alistair to do it. He doesn't like her. So,
But
but
Matt,
you're a male
if you
Grey Warden,
don't
that's
do
right.
it-
yeah.
Matt, if you don't do it, somebody else dies. And I assume your entire goal this game is to get as much of a kill count up for everybody you meet as possible.
I mean, it's possible, but, given the opportunity,
I see.
Yeah, no. I thought I found this choice to be incredibly difficult. I actually know how this whole thing turns out, and I have made this choice 2 times before, and I still found it difficult. It is such an out of the left field, like nowhere ask, where she's like, hey, I gotta have a little conversation, a little convo, if you will. And you're just like, what? You want me to do what? You want me to go talk to Alistair about what? And then, like, what's cool is that we were like besties, and so it wasn't. I did tell her no this time. The last 2 times I said, yeah, let's go ahead and we'll take care of that for you. This time I did tell her no because I wanted to have that experience as well because I've never said no before, and so it was awesome. It was really it wasn't like she was mad. It was a very much like I thought you were my friend. Don't you trust me? You can trust me. And it was like, oh, I do trust you. And we are besties. But also, that seems really sketch, friend. Like sometimes as a friend, it's important for me to say, no, for your best interest, I think maybe no. And then she left, which I didn't know was going to happen. And I was like, oh, I mean, I wasn't going to take you with me anyways because I can't trust you to talk. But because she's just mean to everybody.
Yeah.
But it was really surprising. And I almost thought about, like, I didn't think about going back and doing a resave. But it was really a fun, difficult decision, like just plopped at the end of the game that I thought it's so good. And like I said, I played through this game 3 different times, and each time I've got to this point, I've like stared at the screen like, huh? Like I knew it was coming this time, and I was still like, ugh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I thought I knew what I was gonna do, but now that I'm in the moment and the decision, I don't know what I want to do. It's awesome. It's so much fun. But no, I said no, and then she was like,
I like the fact.
You have to die then, or one of you have to die.
I did some research on the scene. I like the fact that, like, if you have Terra and Loghain, you can just like you can awkwardly make him do it, and
So
like it's just
weird.
like it's such a weird scene.
It was fun.
That's such a wild thing. Hey, you know this dude that is the whole reason that I died in the first place and betrayed all of the Grey Wardens? Hey, will you write a letter to a stork with him? I don't think so. I'd rather him die.
Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. What's really funny is if you watch the write a letter scenes in this game, they're just wearing their underwear. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about like Morrigan, she wears her pajamas around everywhere she goes. So she almost puts more clothing on. It's really, really funny.
It is.
Shall we continue on?
Yes, please do.
Great. Now that we have pimped a Grey Warden out to a shape-shifting apostate mage, or perhaps you did a Dano, it's finally time for real bed. Except it turns out we've been bamboozled. The Archdemon wasn't heading for Redcliffe after all, but to Denerim, the capital city of Ferelden. We are all shocked at this turn of events. Why in the world will the Darkspawn want to go to attack the capital city when there is a moderately sized village that could be attacked, with almost no strategic value of any form? What a surprise!
Shock! Well, just Pikachu comes out of the screen.
Only one thing to do, forced march to Denerim. We arrive too late, and the Darkspawn have sacked the city. We are told that most of the citizens are able to escape. But now it's time for us to put our army to use. We arrive with 4 different armies at our disposal. The options are the Redcliffe army, who are decent in melee combat, the dwarves, who are strong defenders but weak in offense, the golems, if you didn't destroy the anvil, who are great in melee combat, the elves, who are good at ranged units, the werewolves, if you betrayed the elves, who have a strong attack and weak defense, the mages, who are very powerful but who will decimate you with AoE attacks, and the Templars, if you cleanse the tower for good, who are better than the average melee fighters. Now, before we get into the specifics of this, Dano, I have a question, which is, when we had all of these armies in our camp, we can give them various goods of sorts to upgrade them. What does that look like at this point in the game? Like, what is the difference between a fully maxed out army versus someone that I never gave a single scrap to?
It's the amount of troops you have and then how powerful they are. So if you gave them, like, if you maxed out the amount, you just got, like, more and better. The better might not be true, but I think it is. It's more for sure, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's just like the power of that army in the final battle is what it is.
Oh, okay.
Great. I didn't know you could upgrade the armies.
That's what the little box was for that was hidden in the back of the camp. That was easy to miss.
If there was only a tooltip or a tutorial that would have told us that.
I mean, we did actively talk about it on the podcast, Matt. I think if you missed this one might be on you.
We did. We talked about 2 weeks because I think there was questions.
We did
1 week and then a clarification the next week.
Yeah.
Fair.
What do we have the same armies, Matt? The dwarves, the elves, the Redcliffe army, and then the mages.
Yep, that's what I had. I didn't use the mages at all. I didn't. I did because I'm sorry. I have 2 melee fighters in the front row and then 2 ranged people. I don't need AoE attacks going in my face.
Well, I didn't know what it was gonna be until I was like marching up towards the Fort Drakon, and all of a sudden I was getting completely toasted by like these like blizzards and like the cone of colds, and I'm like, oh my gosh. The Darkspawn are so powerful here. And I was like, oh no, these are just the mages casting spells on me.
Oh no, the call is coming from inside the house.
I was like, oh, what? And it was a full party wipe. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive this? And I was like, oh, it's just the stupid mages. Should have picked the Templars all along.
Very good. In each area that we go to, we can choose one army that will join us. And each army has a number next to it, and if that number goes to 0, they are wiped out and cannot be used again. We arrive at the city gates and find them overrun with Darkspawn. We need to clear them out before we can enter the city. We fight this battle without a group. All of our companions are here, but they are all fighting individual battles while we fight our own. Once the city gates are cleared out, we need to pick our group while other companions stay back to protect our rear guard. We learn that the Archdemon has perched itself onto Fort Drakon, which is the highest point of the city, but that it has 2 generals who have taken over the Elven Alienage and the Market District. We need to clear those out before we can attack the Archdemon. Riordan tells us that he is going to fight the Archdemon while we take care of the generals, something that we have no doubt will work, and he most certainly will not plummet to his doom off the back of the Archdemon while fighting it, while it flies through the air. How did you guys like this opening kind of sequence here of getting through the gates and finding out the plan to deal with the Archdemon and definitely knowing that Riordan's plan is gonna be great?
It's the best plan. It was 100% the best plan, and nothing was ever going to go wrong with it. It was so obviously an amazing plan.
It was just perfect.
Yeah, I thought the battle was really fun. I liked the whole like rear guard idea. I like that we like flash back to them and you actually get a fight a little bit. You pick a leader like you do in Mass Effect 2 and 3. It doesn't have the same impact, but you do get to pick a leader, which is fun. And then you actually have like a couple of fights that flash back to that, and you have to like fight with that second group, which I enjoyed quite a bit. I thought like leading up to this was a really cool scene with like whichever leader you chose has like a big rousing speech, you know, as you kind of get to the gates, which is great. And then, yeah, I thought this was good. One funny thing about this is it's like the game is like, okay, so the Archdemon is perched upon Fort Drakon, but there is a general in the Elven Alienage and a general in the Market District. Now, you can choose to clear those out, or you can go right to Fort Drakon. And then the game progresses, and you have to do at least one of those, and you just everyone does both. And it's like, wait, you could just like not said the option bit. Like
it's like take care of the generals, I'll take care of the demon. We'll meet you at the demon. Right? Like,
it was a really weird situation, but yeah.
I like this section because like actually the opening part of this was super weird because like it literally was like your entire party is attacking with the armies, right? Like the initial, like when you initially get into Denerim. And so you're like solo and you're like chasing down like darkspawn everywhere. And like I'm a dwarf, so like my movement speed isn't the fastest. So I'm just like trying to catch up.
Same way. I got lost at one point. We like ran back to the entrance, and I was like, "Wait, where am I supposed to be?" As like my companions all clear everything out. I was like, "Oh, it's done. Good job, crew." I definitely didn't get lost.
Yeah, it was a fun little section.
Let's continue on then, shall we?
Yes.
We get to the Elven Alienage, and we are given the option of telling the elves to flee or give them a rousing speech to help us protect their homes. The Alienage is a pretty cool find because there are only 2 entrances and they are fairly well fortified, since the elves were more or less confined to the walls. We fight off the Darkspawn from on top of the walls, and once this fight is over, it begins a cutscene of Riordan fighting the Archdemon. And y'all, you're never gonna believe it. You're never gonna believe what I have to say. But an NPC doesn't go on to take out the big bad while we aren't even there. Riordan instead plummets to his doom off the back of the Archdemon while fighting it while the Archdemon itself flies through the air. But he does, in his defense, get some real good swipes in and brings it down onto the ground. And this thing is hurt quite badly, but not badly enough. And you know what that means? Alistair, the Grey Warden, or Loghain are dying today. That is, unless you wrote a letter to the STORK, with MORRIGAN the night before. To the Market District we go, and this is much more hectic. There are Darkspawn all over the place, so we have to chase them down. The Market District is basically just waves and waves of ogres and Darkspawn that need to be cleaned out. Once you have dealt with the waves of Darkspawn, the general is fairly easy to deal with. And now we have to go to the Palace District before we can get to Fort Drakon. The Palace District is basically a giant hassle. It is 3 tiers, each tier with ogres to keep us occupied, while Darkspawn mages and archers rain down spells and arrows upon us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
thoughts, feelings, emotions?
Yeah, I have different feelings about all 3 of these. I thought the Elven Alienage was a ton of fun because the stakes felt super real. Because you walk in and immediately like the elves are just running around lost and scared, which I thought was great. They were abandoned by the city, which I thought fit in really well. And then you were given the choice of saying, yes, go ahead and run away, or you need to stay and fight and help us protect your homes, which I thought was really cool and great. And then when you saved the Alienage and they helped protect it, there was that great moment of like, you know, accomplishment, and you know, it was really, really cool. I also thought the fight was really good because they had basically barricaded the two entrances into the Alienage. It was actually a super duper fun fight because you were defending the Alienage from an outside force. So the Darkspawn were trying to basically get into the Alienage while you were defending to keep them out. And if you kept the elves in there, you were actively protecting the elves as well. I thought the Alienage was fantastic. The Market District was whatever. It wasn't that interesting. And the Palace District, same thing. I mean, both those fights were fine. They were fun. They were good. But I thought the Elven Alienage was 100% the most interesting one. The Palace District was where I brought the mages, by the way. And so I'm like going up and around, like up one of the sets of stairs. And all of a sudden, like I just get like blizzard and like fireballed. And I'm like, what is happening here? Because you can't necessarily, you kind of lose line of sight a little bit as you go around the gates. And it was like, oh, this is insane.
I like the Alienage because it was like, you got the barricade set up and they're just sending waves of Darkspawn at you. Unfortunately, mine bugged out where I brought in the archers, and I told the elves to leave, but I brought in the archers to support, and they got stuck further back on the map and didn't advance forward, so they were just sitting there picking their elven ears, not doing anything. While
I brought the elves on this one as well, and they were pretty helpful. Do you have waves come from both sides?
No,
it's just the one
I don't
side.
think so.
I can't remember.
It's just the one side, so it's just like they were just like hung back in that area where we were talking to the people who live there.
Just the pathing got messed up.
The pit, yeah.
That's always
and
a
they just
bummer.
didn't come up.
Love it when the pathing bugs out.
So I literally had to fight the entire fight by myself.
That's how I felt when I brought the mages to the Palace District. I felt I was fighting two armies. I was fighting the Darkspawn and I was fighting the mages.
Look, you just don't understand mages. You gotta let them do what they're gonna do. You can't get in their way. They have a mission and they will accomplish the mission. Whether you survive or not is not really a part of that mission.
Yeah, it's not on them.
Yeah.
We're going to help you, but not at the point where we aim our spells.
That's not how magic works.
No, fair.
Once we are in Fort Drakon, we basically find ourselves in a proper RPG dungeon. Inside are demons and darkspawn galore, and we need to fight up multiple floors to get to the top where the archdemon awaits us. This is a really fun dungeon to play through, but there isn't a ton to talk about except for the end of the first floor. After clearing it out, we enter one more giant room. But in this room, we find hundreds of darkspawn already slain. And Sandal, the enchanter, waiting for us at the end of the room. If we ask him what happened, he'll respond with one word. Enchantment? With that same smile on his face. We can buy any number of supplies from Sandal, which is helpful because we don't really need money at this point, so we might as well load up on supplies, and while we might have questions, sometimes it's better to just have your imagination. At the top of Fort Drakon is the Archdemon, and I don't want to talk about him as much. I want to talk about Sandal one more time. What was your reaction to Sandal and his enchantment?
Enchantment.
It's so good because you can ask him, like, Sandal, did you do this? He goes, enchantment? I don't know that there's ever an answer in the game for how, like, what happened with Sandal, to be completely honest. I think it's just, like, one of those things.
It's just like, okay, we need to get one more shop in. Like, honestly, I think it was just like, we need to get one more shop in, and, like, it would be a joke to put all these bodies right here.
It's, I absolutely love it.
I wish I could have experienced it because I would have lost my gourd. What a great little bit. What a very fun piece of writing. What a fun narrative choice. But one way or another,
awesome.
At the top of Fort Drakon is the Archdemon. The Archdemon is a dragon and has all the dragon abilities we've already dealt with, but this time on a much larger stage. The Archdemon will fly out of reach at certain points in the fight, at which point we'll have to deal with waves of darkspawn. We can summon one of our armies here, and we are also joined by friends we've made along the way. First Enchanter Irving of the Circle will join us, as well as the Arl of Redcliffe and Cardol the Dwarf. If you don't remember who he is, that's okay. Neither do I. Once we kill the Archdemon, we get to have a neat little conversation to decide which warden lands the killing blow, essentially killing that character, assuming Morrigan didn't give you one last goodbye gift. How was this final fight? Who did you choose to take the final blow? Or in the case of Matt, I suppose you didn't have to make that choice.
No, I just took it myself. This fight was great, and like it's probably was one of my favorite fights. Like when you get to are they called scorpions? The big bow and arrow crossbow things on the side.
A ballista?
Yeah, like the ballistas. That's what they are. Like I like the fact they included those in there, and the fact that like one of them is broken, so you have to fix it and before you use it. It's great. It's super great. I loved it.
Didn't even notice them. I didn't even notice them. Now I feel sad that I didn't notice them.
They do a ton of damage.
I
they do
believe
like a
it.
good chunk of damage.
I believe it. I feel bad that I didn't use them. I just do what I always do with in Dragon Age. I just have the tank and just deal with all of it and handle all the damage.
Yeah.
And slowly whittle it down. I love this fight as well. It's because you have like waves of darkspawn in between the different phases of the fight. Mm-hmm. The Archdemon will fly off to like unreachable spots where it can still hit you with like breath attacks. It's a ton of fun. It's a fantastic battle. It's not an easy fight. I don't feel like. I feel like you definitely like there's a sense of accomplishment after you're done with it, which I really enjoyed. I do like when the final battle doesn't feel easy. Yeah, I thought it was. I really enjoyed this battle a lot. And then I did get a kick out of like, you know, and all your friends are here at the last moment with you. Yeah. It's the dwarf from the Path of the Dead, and it's the Circle Mage who was like 95 years old, and it's the
is that who that dwarf was?
Yeah, he's the dwarf. He was like the Legion of the Dead dwarf. Yeah. He's
okay.
Yeah, because they got sent up to like help with the blight. So yeah, and then I chose Alistair. Alistair was like, "Let me do this. He was kind of like, this is what I want to do, and this is how I can best serve." And it was really an awesome. It was really great. It was really cool moment. I felt like, and it was again one of those decisions that wasn't super easy to make in the moment, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, if I was going to have my main character take the final blow or Alistair take the final blow. And I thought Alistair taking it was really cool. It was, like I said, it was the first time I've had one of the wardens have to die, and I thought it made for a better ending. I like games with a little bit of sacrifice at the end. And I thought with Alistair, it was really, it was great. It was kind of like, he has a really neat, interesting character arc, right? It's not super impressive, but he kind of goes from being like, not a spoiled rich kid necessarily, but from being like someone who refuses to take responsibility, but like kind of deals with it when he has to kind of having just the kind of responsibility he wants to have foisted upon him. And he kind of knows who he is. I think that's what it is. I think he knows who he is and, you know, what he wants to be. And it was kind of cool to let him kind of drive that narrative a little bit. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Nice. The ending of the game is a little difficult to describe because there's so many different possibilities. At the end of the fight itself, you are presented with a scene of the ruler of the realm thanking you for all your hard work, and brief discussions with each of your crewmates. Many of them are talking about how they want to go on and do new things now that your quest is ended. There are many different ways that your companions can go. For instance, you might choose to follow Morrigan into her quest as she has disappeared after the final battle. You might choose to try and rule the realm. Maybe you'll just wander about. Maybe you'll help rebuild the Great Wardens. There are many different possibilities. Matt, how did your game end? What are some of the highlights? What are some of the things that stood out to you? Generally speaking, what happened?
So Alistair became king and shied away from governing, which I thought was funny. You know, so like, yeah, maybe not the right choice. The urn of it, Andraste's ashes became a tourist trap. The The circle tower is safe and saved. Let's see here. Slavers are shut down in the Alienage, and the new king. There's basically every little character you interact with. There's a little title card, like the dwarves. They open up, and then the Balin had a bunch of enemies, and the assembly was eventually dissolved. That's fun.
I think that's one of the most wild things that Balin's like, hey, I'm going to be so progressive, I don't need anybody else doing anything. You guys try to keep assassinating me. I'm going to take the reins and do it myself.
Yep. My Paragon was, my Warden was declared a Paragon.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, the Brother Burkle, the Chantry dwarf was basically, so the council restricted it, but then he resisted and was slain and became an exalted mark. Dagna completed her studies. Yeah. Morrigan slipped off and disappeared, but she's pregnant. Basically the companions scattered, and then my character became like the leader of the Grey Wardens and began training them. So
Dano, how about yourself?
So I chose for Honora to be the queen, and she proved herself an adept ruler. Trade agreements with other lands quickly brought new funds into the royal coffers. And with them, the queen saw the capital rebuilt, the army restored, laws were passed, encouraged, freeholders produced sufficient harvest, and plans were conceived for a university. So definitely go with Honora, not Alistair. Feeling pretty good about that one. So despite Loghain being executed, Queen Honora insisted on building a monument for her father overlooking the Orlesian embassy, which is fantastic.
What a vibe.
Wow.
What a terrible, terrible vibe.
It says the statue was largely ignored, save by Honora herself, who voyaged out to the statue once a year to place flowers at his feet. She refused to marry other suitors, and basically she refused to get remarried, even though the Feld nobility wanted her to. Again, Urn of Sacred Ashes was again made an announcement, and then, like I said, turned into a tourist trap, essentially. Not necessarily, but it became like, they could go and visit the Urn of Sacred Ashes.
It was a pilgrimage location.
A pilgrimage location. That's what it is. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Circle Tower was reborn. The slavers were shut down. Shiny continued to be an outspoken member of the Alienage, and in time became the new elder. The outspokenness earned her frequent trouble, but served her people well. She was the elf who was like there. We didn't talk about her much in the Alienage, but when you went to the Alienage, she was the one that kind of gave you the down low about all the things that were happening there, and you kind of like went and checked with her. She was also like in the Elven, like the city elf story. She was one of the main elves there in that one as well. Arl Eamon went back to Redcliffe. His son was sent off to study the circle. So, good for him. The tavern, this is my favorite one. One of my favorite ones. The tavern in Redcliffe Village is now run by Bella, because I killed off the tavern keeper, and she renamed it to Warden's Rest. Dalish Shelves prospered. The new keeper, Lanaya, was respected. A bunch of Dalish and Ferelden. The werewolves were no longer werewolves. Again, Balin became the king. Even though he murdered my father and my brother and tried to get me, murdered in the deep roads. I made him king. And exactly, his reforms made him almost assassinated. So they're like, you know what? No more democracy. Even though it was kind of a scuffed democracy anyways, but still, I love that.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I was also named a living paragon, as well as Matt. So that's fun for both of us. Brother Burkle's new chantry in Orzammar drew a surprising number of converts among the dwarves. They quickly attracted a great deal of anger from more conservative quarters before the assembly severely restricted Andrastian's rights. And then he got the slain because he was not happy with that. And then the divine contemplated an exalted march. An exalted march is basically a crusade. So, like, the chantry almost marched
Went to
upon
war.
Orzammar because of these.
Is that what that is?
shenanigans.
I thought Exalted Mark was like a title. Like it was like you're
Nope.
like a saint in the chantry.
Nope. So contemplated an exalted march, a new exalted march. So it was like a
crusade
crusade. Yep.
ish.
Yep.
And then Dagna completed her studies. We're gonna see Dagna more later in a future game. Did you have the thing about the Anvil of the Void, Matt?
Yeah, I had that one.
So they-
I think because like we both did the same thing on that
Yeah.
one, right? Where
So they tried to
Where, like,
remake more golems, and the golems immediately went insane, and they're like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
yeah, because they were pulling like consciousness from the
Fade.
from the fade. Yeah,
I think that's one of the things that that kind of bummed me out, is that there were a lot of things like, you made this choice, you destroyed this thing, or you got rid of this person, and they came back, and that anvil you destroyed, turns out it wasn't actually destroyed. I don't know what the other end of that is. I don't know if you keep the anvil, if they just do the same thing. But it was kind of weird to be like, oh, I destroyed this, and then they just like rebuilt it when I was gone.
So
That felt kind of bad.
So you destroy the anvil, and then they basically reopened his research. So the anvil was destroyed, so they couldn't actually recreate golems, but they kind of dove back into the research to try recreate the anvil, and then failed in
But they
recreating
found-
the anvil.
They
Found
found
chunks of it, right?
pieces of the anvil. That was like, so in the title card on the playthrough that I did, is even though they destroyed the anvil, they found pieces and were able to piece it back together.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Few
you're right.
Smith
It's at the end of
managed
the
to
card
locate
there,
the
yeah.
anvil's remains. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one just felt bad.
Not wrong. Not wrong. Especially because, like, you had, like, sacrifice things for that one. It was like, too bad, so sad. Like, I dropped it in lava. I don't know. Like, maybe.
Yeah,
the
I don't know how many more pieces are left after that.
I mean, the one ring couldn't survive it. Like, why? Yeah, and then I had the same thing where my Grey Warden went on to be the leader of the Ferelden Grey Wardens, and then her story continues in Dragon Age Awakening, which we will start again next week, which is a pretty fun start, actually, because she gets her... The way Dragon Age Awakening begins is you are gifted land by the ruler of Ferelden, either Alistair or the Queen, whose name I'm forgetting right now. Basically
Honora.
saying, yeah, thank you. Basically saying that, we need to make sure that we're protected, and we need to make sure that the wardens are here for when we need them. So the best we can do that is through, like, titles and land. And so you get to your land, and then shenanigans. It's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I enjoyed the little expansion quite a bit.
So a couple of the major differences in the playthrough that I saw was that Aurel Eamon's son didn't survive, and so Lady Isolde wanted to give him another child, and so they had a daughter, but she actually dies during childbirth. And the daughter goes on to also have an affinity for magic, and this time he sends the daughter off to the Circle in order to be trained. I thought that was an interesting choice. Also, the warden was in a relationship with Morrigan, and so him and Zevran went off to just go find Morrigan after she disappeared.
That's kind of
And I was like, I didn't realize Zevran would do that. That's pretty fun.
That is pretty cool.
They were also a human warden, a noble, and they got Aurel Howe's entire family's lands stripped for the things that they did and given to the noble house, and his brother maintained all of the lands and rights and things and got a good fortune off of that. And I think that those are kind of some of the major differences between their playthrough and your guys' playthrough, but some interesting stuff.
Speaking of Aurel Howe's family and having their titles stripped, that comes as a pretty major plot point in Dragon Age Awakening, actually. So,
Ooh.
yeah, get you excited for next week. All right, so head over to the Naga Sandwich then?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Taste my grilled cheese.
Munch, munch, munch.
I've got the first good, and there are a bunch of possible goods in this one, and so I'm just gonna go with I think my favorite. So right before the game ends, after you have the moment with the king or the queen where they're thanking you, you go and you walk through this reception where all of your companions are. You talk to them, and they tell you what their plans are to happen next. Which, by the way, every one of them has their own little like, here's what I'm doing next, and here's who I'm gonna go hang out with, and what I'm gonna do, and encourage you to like, if you're not playing through the game, to go watch a playthrough to kind of see what they all say, because it's very, very cool. But when
Stan and Dog get together, it's so good.
And when you get to the end, like you get to the doors to exit, and there are 2 guards there, and the guard says, "Are you ready, my lady? The crowds outside are getting restless." And this like really like awesome way of like, hey, you saved us all, and now we get to celebrate you. And it was so incredibly, amazingly cool way to end the game. It was like, hey, you're a hero. And it was just really cleanly and neatly done. I thought it was so cool. And then you exit the doors to greet the crowds, and the title cards show up, giving you like the backstory of what happened based on all your choices. So clean, so good. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Which are not so good.
Not so good. It's like some of the end title cards, some really minor side characters make cards at the end, and others just don't. And there is like no indication in the game what is going to carry over versus not. Like, Dano, you mentioned that we have one minor quest in Orzammar where we try to get a dwarf who is really interested in studying the circle to go to the tower, and we can do that, and she can study magic. Well, why does that get a title card when literally no other side quest in Orzammar does?
Right.
And
what's his name is an Orzammar guy.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. But like, there's still so many quests that just don't, and it kind of sucks to have. I wish that there was like a better indication of this is like a side quest that matters versus this is a side quest that we will never talk about ever again, and it's just kind of a bummer.
You hit the nail on the head of like BioWare and EA never knew what they wanted to do with Dragon Age. To this day, they don't know what they're going to do with it. Like, they went from Dragon Age Origins to every single choice you make carries over and is important, to Veilguard, which was like, hey, who did you date? So, like, very much like never really having a handle on what were the important choices, what was the story. It was very much like a Star Wars episode 7, 8, and 9, where it was like, hey, what if we just don't have any idea where the story is going, and then we just write this trilogy with like no plan in mind?
But we got to make sure we hit the points of that were in the original trilogy.
Yeah, so it's a very valid critique, I think, that you have there, and it carries over throughout the series. As much as I love it, there is room to criticize and like throughout the entire series, because it is not a perfect game. Not that the perfect game exists, but you're very much like, you're always kind of left wondering what your experience is going to be like in the next game, because it doesn't necessarily have a coherent plan. And I do believe that was the problem. They never had a plan for these games. It was kind of, I think they were just always surprised when the games continued to be successful, until it got to Veilguard, and they were like, well, there's no way this will be successful, so we're going to put this in development hell. And then it wasn't successful, and they're like, told you Dragon Age couldn't be successful. And it was like, well, I mean, look what you did. And it still was moderately successful. With all the bad press it got, it actually ended up doing kind of just fine. Yeah. So a super valid critique, I would say, and one that really, like, if you're hoping it gets better, nope.
Probably not.
The games are still good, though. I promise.
Matt, what's our best good?
Best good. The final battle set piece, I think, is just incredibly well done. It was so good. I enjoyed it tremendously. Like, there's a good amount of like just like fighting mobs and like killing like whatever you can, and then tanking the dragon for a while. But also, like, there's like the opportunities for like the tactics. Like for a while, I just pulled Leliana off doing damage, so she could go fire the ballistas at the dragon when it got into like that last area, right? So so I could so I can just get that extra damage in from her, and like so she had to go run and like fix it, and then but there's also like Darkspawn attacking her, so I had to send over Alistair or myself to help like cover for her while she's fixing it. It's great. I loved it. So much fun.
Agreed.
Nice.
So we had to get some 3 questions asked. I think we should.
I think we should.
Ask each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
3, that's a magic number. I will ask myself 3 questions.
Friends, this is going to be our last 3 questions about Dragon Age Origins. So, make them good. Hey, Matt, what you like it so far?
Like just that whole ending section, like starting off like fighting solo and chasing after your party, trying to find Darkspawn to kill. I thought that was super cool. Like the two other sections, like the marketplace, like where you're fighting the ogres. I thought that was super cool. If I was able to get support in the Alienage, I thought that would have been super great. It's just like just calling in these NPC characters, like just to meat shield some Darkspawn. That's it's like while you just do all the damage you can. It's great. I loved it.
Dano, what are you liking so far?
Yeah, the final battle was super duper fun. The entire final battle, like the entirety of it, like entering into the city of Denerim and then going into the Alienage, even like the parts that I thought weren't fantastic were still really, really fun. And then once you get into Fort Drakon, like that entire dungeon was a blast. And then culminated with a super fun boss fight. It's a really, really super fun boss fight that didn't feel like when you walked into it that you were endgame overpowered. It felt like, I was like, I wonder if I'm going to survive this fight or not. There's a couple times where I was like, yeah, I think that if I was on a harder difficulty, I might have really struggled with this. And so it was great. I absolutely loved the entire end game. I thought was really, really, really well done, really well thought out. Thought the armies were really fun to use. I enjoyed like putting a little bit of thought into it. It was like, oh, who should I bring this time? And trying to defend them. Like when I brought the elves, like making sure I defend them so they wouldn't like chasing after Darkspawn that were chasing them down. Because I knew they couldn't fight in melee, so that I had them for later if I needed to. And then I ended up using them again against the Archdemon, because I was like, I need someone that can just fire from far away. I don't need anyone that's going to get kicked around by a dragon. I need just something to kill him. That's also not going to hit me with Cone of Cold. And so, it was like I felt like vindicated that I worked really hard to keep all of them alive. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, that little scene also too when you pick your party going into like where like the other party members are just like have their like one word, one sentence like. It's like, oh, you should have picked me. Or Morrigan going like in my playthrough where it's like, oh, just because I'm with child doesn't mean I can fight. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
hey, Matt.
Yeah.
What you struggling with?
So it took me a couple times in that final section to figure out like, I should really use these armies. Like I got a couple sections where it's like, wow, this is really super hard. But it's like, I wonder, like, why is this so hard? And then, like, I like looked it over to the side. And there's little tooltips, like, hey, press the buttons to play to use the armies, dummy. And I'm like, oh, I should do that. And I press that. And I'm like, oh, this is so much better. Like, this is so much more fun. Like, I get to deal with these armies. Like, because I just got like rolled over by like 3 ogres in a row. And I'm like, oh, all right, let's try this again. Oh, I can use the armies. I should try that.
Yeah, the thing that you spent the entire game to try and get, you should probably use that. You should probably use that in some way, shape, or form.
The entire point of the game.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like, now I'm mad because Mass Effect, I got all these armies in Mass Effect 3 and I never got to use them. They just like showed up.
True though. But they were war assets and there was a number that went up and that was a lot of fun.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
number go up, very fun.
I enjoyed it immensely. I loved going into that room, seeing where my number was, and reading the new things. I was like, ooh, that piece of space junk I found made the number go up by 75 points. I bet you Storm Rages are going to have this 75 points. I loved that ding-dang number.
We needed that in this game.
Oh, gosh, I know I did.
Dano, what are you struggling with?
So there is a DLC for this game where it's like an alternate universe DLC where like the warden, the main character, the protagonist, never survived to be found by Duncan, and so wasn't there to lead the armies, and so the Ferelden fell, and you are playing as the Darkspawn in the final battle, and you're playing as like a Hurlock, which is like one of those dwarven lieutenants, and you have to go and recruit your Darkspawn like group of like 4 characters, and you have to go and kill all of like the party members essentially until you get to, I think, Alistair or some of that's the final boss. I was super duper excited for this, and then I went to play it, and it was really hard to figure out. It was super difficult, kind of nonsensical, and it like I never really got what I was supposed to be doing because you recruit Darkspawn, like you force them to join your party, and like as they kill things, they kind of level up, but then you also can kick other things out to bring other things into your party, and it's hard to know what is what. I never even got out of like the initial battle, and I was like, oh well. I kind of don't want to spend the next like 10 hours of my life trying to figure out how to make this go. So it's kind of disappointing. I really wanted to play through that. Maybe I will someday. I probably will someday. But like at the moment, I finished the game and I wanted to go play it from the other perspective, and it just wasn't as clean as I would have liked to have been. And maybe I was just hoping for it to be easier than it actually was. And if I went back now, maybe I'd enjoy it more. But in the moment, I was like, I put about an hour into it and was pretty not frustrated, but just it wasn't as much fun as I thought it was going to be because it started kind of slow, and I was like, never mind. So it was like, yeah, go and recruit your members, but it doesn't tell you what things are what. Like each like they come like with powers already there, so you kind of have to like iterate as you go, and they're fully leveled up basically, but they're not, and so it's hard to know what is best. And I was like, I don't want to go and Google best party comps for a DLC. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of what I found to be a bit of a bummer.
Matt, what surprised you about the game?
Enchantment? Enchantment. This, yeah. What was his name again? Whatever. They're just showing up right at the end in a pile of bodies around him. It's great. It's just wonderful. Perfect. No notes.
It's such a fun little bit. I love it so much. Dano, what surprised you about the game?
How feelsy it got at the end with like having to choose a Grey Warden to sacrifice, especially because Alistair ended up being in my party for a good chunk of the game. So like it was like between me and Alistair, and he like, you know, what do I do? What do I choose? How do I do this? Do I sacrifice myself, or do I, you know, let Alistair do it? I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. The first 2 times I played this game, I took Morrigan's way out, and honestly, I think it makes the game weaker. I think having a way out of making the hard decision at the end of the game, it makes the game weaker. It honestly feels like the middle of the road ending in Mass Effect 3. Not nearly to the same extent. And they're very different situations. But like it's kind of similar where it's like, hey, we know this is hard and you might not want to do it, so here's a way out. And like, I think it's okay to force the player into a tough decision. And so I would have liked it more if like Morrigan's like baby wasn't written into the game, because like it doesn't pay off. And so
that's a bummer.
Yeah, I know. I was always kind of waiting for it as well. And like Morrigan and the baby do come back like years later. So like the Morrigan and the child do come back.
Okay.
And maybe it does pay off and I didn't get to that point of the game or something, but at least from my memory, it's like kind of like, yeah, he's just a normal kid. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So sorry, spoilers for Dragon Age Inquisition. But it's such a minor thing.
I'll forget it by then. I'll forget it by then.
That is not really a spoiler because like I'll go back and look, and if I'm wrong, I'll cut this out of the episode. But I'm pretty sure it's just like it gets written. It's a huge decision that basically gets written out in the future. Oh, I don't know what I'm laughing about, Dean. No idea. No idea at all what I'm laughing about. No, definitely not. No. Right. Should we get to some salt?
Salt?
Yeah.
Salty!
Hey, Matt, go ahead and read Simp Biscuit's salt here.
You can have a dog in your party and play as the dog. 10 out of 10, IGN. Perfect. Dano,
Do
I
I
think you
get
got
to read the
next
next one?
No,
I
you
think
don't.
Dano
read
gets
the next
to-
one.
I
no,
get to read the
no,
next
Dano.
one. Next one is written by Muffin Baskets. 130.8 hours on record, 57.6 hours at time of review. Enchantment. Because Sandal's the best character.
Yep, Sandal. Sandal's great.
Hey, Storm Rage, why don't you go ahead and read this last review here?
Yeah, this is by somebody who has 84.8 hours on record for Dragon Age Origins. An individual by the name of Dano Play. People keep saying that the joining is rigged, and the Darkspawn blood screws them over. Turns out there might be some merits to it. I hate conspiracy theories a lot, but the Archdemon has a patent describing how it kills Grave Wardens to increase revenue. A rabbit hole worth exploring.
A rabbit hole worth exploring?
I hate you so much, Dano.
I think it is a rabbit hole worth exploring.
I hate this bit. Why can't it die?
Oh, by the way, this is 84.8 hours on Steam. I have another 60 or 70 hours on GOG. So, because this was just a playthrough for my 2020 playthrough. I also have the Xbox 360 playthrough. So I put a bunch of hours into this game.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, thanks.
Game reviews. Game reviews.
Hey, Storm Rage, do you want to start, middle, or end this?
I'll start, because I think there's more to this game than I will give it credit for. I'm not going to include this game in my rankings for, I think, obvious reasons. It would not be very high, and I don't think that that's representative of the game itself. I genuinely wonder what this game would be like to play. Like, I've seen it, but I only got to experience up to a certain point, and I don't know if that gameplay becomes repetitive. I don't know if that gameplay becomes frustrating, or if that gameplay becomes cheesy. I don't know, and that sucks. I really wish that I had an opportunity to experience this. I wish I had played it when it had originally came out, but I'll never know.
I'm sorry for you, because I think you would have enjoyed it a lot. It's such a effectively a Storm Rage game. I do feel bad.
Yeah.
I can go next, because Matt has like a novel here, and I think that Matt's novel deserves to be read. I'll go next. I love this game. I think the combat is fantastic, and I think it's something that deserved to get polished the same way that Mass Effect's combat did between 1 and 2. I do think the combat in Origins is much further along than the combat was in Mass Effect 1. I think it had a clear idea of how it was going to work, as opposed to like Mass Effect 1, where they're like, what if like there was an RPG shooter? And it was kind of like, that didn't actually work. And then it became what became really, really good combat in 2 and 3. I think the story of the world is also fantastic. I love that the world is the star of Dragon Age. I think that's super cool. And it's not something we see a lot of in video games. You know, with most stories and most expended, it's like, okay, it's the protagonist continues on, or it's the story of a group or something like that. But having like this world be the star is really cool and original, and I love it, the game for it. This game is a fantastic entry into that world. Now, that being said, I don't believe this is like true dark fantasy. It's just kind of like bloody fantasy almost. I think it's like gory fantasy, but it's not like a dark fantasy. It's kind of like what a 16-year-old boy thinks dark fantasy is, where it's kind of like, hey, here's just like, you know, random demons, and you know what the demons look like. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, we're trying to be edgy, but like in a way that is acceptable. In a weird way. It's
2006 edgy.
It's 2006 edgy. It's 100% 2006 edgelord. It's what it is. It's like bad things happen, but nothing like out of the norm for a fantasy series. I really enjoyed the characters for what they were and who they are. I think like some of the characters sneak up on you and how interesting they are. Like Wynn was that for me. Like I never ever play with Wynn. I always play with Morrigan, and then just like shoehorn her into a healer role. And then actually playing through with Wynn this time was really, really fun and interesting. And I love that the choices you make lose you characters. Not just like lose you like, oh, they don't like you, but like they straight up like walk away or attack you to try to get you to stop the decisions you make. I love that the decisions have consequences, like in the moment and then in the long-term history of the game and the world. I think that's super duper fun. That being said, the game doesn't run great. It's not as bad as it could be, but like then there's stuff like for Storm Rage where the game became unplayable regardless of everything he did. Like hours, and it's not like he was like, oh, it doesn't work, I quit. I mean, 10 or 15 hours of struggling with it. Like reaching out to multiple different platforms, help desks, and like nothing. Like the game just didn't play. So like if you're gonna play this game, which I would suggest you do, you just run it with like the whatever that like Win patch is, or the Dwin or Dwan, whatever it is.
And that's all I ran was just that one patch.
Just run that, and then also like make sure you get like the gigabyte patch, or run it on GOG, which I don't think you need that patch anymore. So you just get like the Dwin's patch or whatever, and no other mods, zero other mods, because the game can't handle it. And then make sure you keep your saves down to don't get too many save files on there either. That's what happened to me at the end, was I had too many save files, and so it started crashing. So I had to go back through and delete old save files because the game couldn't handle all the save files I had. I would like to see like a remake of this game. In a perfect world, I'd like to see that, but like we don't live in a perfect world. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know if I trust like or want EA or that current iteration of BioWare to kind of touch the game. And so like maybe this is like one of those games where you kind of had to be there in that moment to play it. You can play it now if you want to, but you have to kind of know what you're getting into, and that this is kind of like a historical artifact. And so you kind of get what you get out of it and have to kind of accept that. And to be honest, it's kind of like how this game always was. This game was always kind of a buggy mess. Like it was a mid-aughts BioWare game. Like all these CRPGs built at this time, like and still to this day, kind of are buggy messes. And so you kind of get what you get with it. And so I'm kind of two minds. Like I would love for this game to get like a Mass Effect treatment where they go through and they just polish it and make it playable on modern machines. I think if anything, that's what I would like. I would not like to see it get like a Final Fantasy VII remake treatment, where they just kind of like go in and rebuild it. Yeah.
Actually, what this game really needs is a Baldur's Gate 3 mod, where it's just this game, but it's in Baldur's Gate 3.
I would play that. I
mean, how has someone not made Dragon Age and Skyrim yet? I mean,
right?
All right, Matt. What is your review?
All right, here's my novel. Dragon Age Origins. It's really an interesting game. It's begging. Like I said, it's begging. Like you said, it's begging for a remake, but that's never going to happen.
No.
Still, in ways it feels years ahead of a lot of the games from this era, especially in the way it's like you handle your party and the relationships with the parties, interaction, exploration, dialogue, and honestly, the choices like the consequences of the choices you make during the game. That said, the combat feels ancient, like button pushing MMO style combat in a way, especially at times. I eventually settled into a playstyle I like, but there were moments where I just like, okay, I'm done with combat now. Can I just move on? Can we move on with like this combat, especially in Orzammar? Orzammar, jeez, oh Pete.
It goes long.
It's service.
Orzammar goes long.
It's good combat. There's good tactics, but it just drags on a lot in like some fights.
Have we talked about the time frame of this? Do you know when this was released versus Mass Effect 2?
No.
Would you like to guess?
This was like 2005, right?
This was 2006, wasn't it?
2009.
Really?
It was released almost exactly 2 months before Mass Effect 2.
I thought this and Mass Effect 1 released at the same time, but no. That's fascinating.
Wow.
That kind of explain why the combat was better.
I mean, if you want to play worse combat, well, there's also KOTOR, right? Anyway.
That's true.
That's crazy, though, that it released the same time as Mass Effect 2.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Where was I? Lore-wise, the game feels deep. The world feels lived in. It's a place with real history, politics, and culture. The characters are all kind of jerks in the best way, with their own motivations and absolutely steamroll your plans if it suits them. But also, that's part of what makes it so good. You have real agency in what you do. You get to forge alliances you want and shape the story around what you were planning to do or what your playstyle is. The companions, for me, were a mixed bag. I love Leliana. Absolutely love Leliana, especially after Leliana's song. She was my favorite character in the game. Alistair was great, and Morrigan is just pure snark personified. Wynn was a quiet favorite of mine. I really enjoyed Wynn in my party, and Dog is the best boy. The rest really didn't click with me, and that's why I guess Stan, I could never get more than 2 words out of him, and the other guy that betrayed me, I did not. I guess I should have talked to him more, but it didn't work out.
I love Zephyr.
But then honestly, but like not every character can be your best friend in this game, and it's great. Like especially if you like drag party members around with like the choices they don't agree with, and it's super cool. It felt really real in a way. But like I said earlier, the pacing was really uneven. Ostegar was just ridiculous. Like Ostegar was just like, come on, can we be done with this already? Like felt like it would never end.
Orzammar?
Ostegar or Orzammar?
Orzammar, that's right. Orzammar. The dwarven. I mistyped that part. Anyway, but from the Landsmeet through the final battle, the game just picks up and is honestly the best. It's part of the game that's like sticks with me the most and felt most impactful and emotional, and like where all the choices you made like they just nailed the payoff at the end. It's definitely a game I really want to replay with it. Like at some point, go through some of the different origin stories. Go through and figure out, like, and play a different way where instead of having Alistair, Leliana, and Wynn in my party all the time, go with a Morrigan, go with a Sten, and go with, like, and bring Alistair along so he's super annoyed the entire time. It's great. Like, that's the other thing I know I want to talk about too, with, like, I didn't put it in here, but, like, the conversations in the field, like, where you're just running around, walking around, going from point A to point B in a quest, where the characters really open up and just talk to each other, is amazing. It's super good. Like there was just times where, like early on where Morrigan and Alistair were like yakking at each other, and like I would just stop on a bridge, enjoy and just pan around the scenery listening to them. It's great. Like the game allows you to have these moments where you're just like, okay, stop, listen to these characters, and look around. And I think that's super great. I mean, yeah, you can just run right through the area and like skip the dialogue, but like no, that's not what you do. You sit, you watch, you listen, you get the story bits, you get the relationships, and you enjoy. Like I said, I really enjoyed this game. I'm really looking forward to digging into Dragon Age 2, especially after playing the tutorial a couple times, trying to figure out what class I want to play.
I agree to that last part.
So.
And you will see a lot more of Morrigan. She is like a major player in future games, so don't worry about that.
Yep.
And I
you're
don't
gonna-
believe Sten is. Don't worry about that either.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as we get another Quinari that's like not.
You get
like
some amazing Qunari. Like,
Sweet.
buckle up for both Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age Inquisition. Also, there's a mod in Dragon Age Inquisition that will make sure that you get new, like, little dialogue bits, and you hit them because every 15 minutes you can get dialogue, but, like, there's a chance you just don't get it. I think it's 15 minutes, might be wrong. It's a certain amount of time where you can get a new dialogue, but you don't always hit it. And there's a mod in Dragon Age Inquisition to make sure you always get that next, like, story bit between your companions, which I always run that mod. But yeah.
We do rankings or?
Yeah, I think we should do
moving on to
rankings.
the end.
Let's do rankings. Why would we do rankings?
One of us can't do it.
Well, one of us can't do it, but I think the other of us can, so I think we can go ahead and do rankings. I think we need to rank Origins. So we just go beginning to end and kind of walk through it again, and then we can give like a breakdown of why we gave Origins what we gave it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Matt, what was your number 9 game?
Cult of the Lamb.
Mine was Return of Obra Dinn. Matt, what was your number 8 game?
Darkest Dungeon.
Whoa. Storm Rage, number 8 game.
Ah, yes, Cult of the Lamb.
My number 8 game is also Cult of the Lamp. Number 7 game, Matt.
Number 7 is Return of the Obra Dinn.
Storm Rage, number 7.
Darkest Dungeon.
Mine is Mass Effect 1.
No.
I know, right? Seems too low.
Right? Speaking of low.
Matt, what is your number? What are you on, number 6? Is that right?
Number 6, that'd be Dragon Age Origins. Slots in at number 6. I put it below all the Mass Effects, below Life is Strange, below Chrono Trigger.
Did you use
But I still enjoyed
the
it.
gaming rubric?
Actually, I did, and that's about where it landed in the rubric as well.
Okay.
Interesting.
Storm Age, your number 6?
Chrono Trigger.
And
You can finish that one.
my number 6 is Dragon Age Origins.
Hmm.
Came in at a 3.5 on the rubric. So I gave where it was really hurt was just like the age of the game. So art and graphics, I gave C tier, which wasn't like super fair. I don't feel like, because it didn't look bad, but like it also was like it is what it is.
It wasn't stylized enough to be unique for its time. It was just like of its time, and it wasn't bad.
Nope.
It was just like that was considered to be like the traditional graphics. And I think if you're an older game, you either need to be stylized like Chrono Trigger to gain that, or just good.
Yeah. The problem was it was just very much like, hey, these are good graphics for this time, and not great graphics, and fine graphics, just not great art for the time, right? And like what you got, like, even what you got out of the characters and the demons was very samey. It was like, oh, you either have the male demon, which is a fire thing, or you have a female demon, which it's a female demon. Like it was very. Yeah. I felt even the art direction wasn't super interesting. It was very like, what if a 17-year-old boy designed the art for a game? Mm-hmm. So that's why I gave it a big hit there. I gave game mechanics, characters, and story all A tier. I think those are all fantastic.
I did too.
I love the way the game plays. I love the characters for their flaws and for what they are. Leliana is awesome, and I'm glad that she's in the games coming up. Morrigan is awesome. Alistair really grew on me. Wynn really grew on me. Sten, whatever.
I mean, if Alistair really grew on you, you would have let him live.
It's fair enough. And I love the story of the game as well. Playability in 2025. This one was a close one. I almost gave it a D because of what happened in Storm Rage, but I gave it a C because of how well it played for Matt. So I was like, okay. It did not play at all for Storm Rage. It played perfectly great for Matt, and for me, it would the more saves I had put together, the more it would crash. So the more and more saves I had, the more frequently it would crash. So I was like, okay, it's not unplayable, but it's not great.
I didn't make it. See, here's the thing. I didn't make any stop saves. I quick saved a bunch, but I only did stop saves like at the end of a section.
Yeah, I had a ton of stop saves because I was trying to keep track of the time really closely. And so like I would do a stop save if I went off and like went on a huge tangent, like going off and doing other things and coming back to it. I wanted to like make a note that, okay, at this time I went off and did something at the Circle Tower, did some side quests, and I came back and did this other thing. And so I had a bunch of saves like that. And they just kind of like added up until I was like just doing that all the time. And I was like, that wasn't great. So
I had a total of 3 saves.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel bad.
I mean, how many times you had to restart from those saves? That's the real question.
A lot.
Yeah.
And then I gave the soundtrack a B because I know how good the soundtrack gets.
See, the soundtrack didn't. I'll disagree with you there. I didn't like the soundtrack was not memorable for me at all. I don't remember any like.
Oh, I love this soundtrack, but like the soundtrack for Inquisition is like one of my all-time favorites. So, but it's like Mass Effect with Storm Rage and me, though. It was like, what? There's a soundtrack to this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Soundtrack's so good.
So yeah, so that ended up with that gave me a 3.5, which put it in between, right above Mass Effect 1, which I think had like a 3.1 or a 3.2, I think. So 3.1 for Mass Effect, and then 3.5 for Dragon Age Origins, and then the next game is 3.7. So kind of smack dab in the middle there.
All right,
Matt, we're on number 5. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yes.
It's Life is Strange.
Storm Age,
Make
number
it
5.
2. Life is Strange for me at number 5 as well.
And mine is Chrono Trigger. So I honestly feel Chrono Trigger, Dragon Age Origins, and Mass Effect 1 were all amazing games.
I mean, we haven't played a bad game yet.
We played, you're right, we haven't played a bad game. Number 4.
Whoa. Number 4, Chrono Trigger.
Storm Rage, number 4.
Number 4, Return of the Obra Dinn.
My number 4 is Mass Effect 3. Into our top 3s, Matt at Arms.
Mass Effect Uno.
Ooh, nice. Storm Rage.
Mass Effect 1.
Now, wow, I am just so wrong apparently with that game, huh? What did I do? I have it so low.
Actually, that game would be better if you just didn't care about the gear.
You know, the gear bugged me. It really did bug me. I was so frustrated by it. My number 3 is Life is Strange. Number 2,
my number
Matt.
2 is Mass Effect 3.
Storm Rage.
2 is Mass Effect 2.
Oh.
My number 2 is Darkest Dungeon. And then your number 1, Matt.
Shocker, Mass Effect 2. It's the best game we've played so far.
So good. Storm Rage.
Mass Effect 3.
And mine is Mass Effect 2. Wait a minute. I haven't updated that. That's not right. My number... Oh, it got switched around. So my number 2 is... Wait. Oh, I had these on here wrong. Nope. This isn't the rubric of mine. Oh, I wasn't looking at the rubric. Oops.
Well, there's the rubric, but there's also the feelings, right?
Well, these were the ones before. This was before I re-ranked them. I didn't put them in the show notes. So my number was I went Chrono Trigger, then Darkest Dungeon, then Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect 2, and Life is Strange. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I think I re-ranked these dudes in the rubric. So I did. My number 1 is Life is Strange. Number 2 is Mass Effect 2. Number 3 is Mass Effect 3. So, yeah. All right. Cool. I need to update those show notes. That's it for this week. Next week, we dive into Dragon Age Awakening.
Is the Brecilian Forest in there?
We are
playing...
did
you go to the Brecilian Forest yet?
Yes, sorry. We are going to the Brecilian Forest. My bad. We're not playing Dragon Age Awakening. We're playing the Brecilian Forest. That's it for this week. Thank you all so much for listening. Thanks to our page for patronizing us. Special thank you to our producer and best friend forever, Ridiculous Hat. You can find all the links and to our Discord and to our content information, the pinned comment on our Patreon page over patreon.com/Squelch.
Man, Dragon Age is a game, and games are supposed to be fun.
Yeah! Drink that darkspawn blood, baby!
This is the end of the show. Everybody
get my new rankings in there.
Well, my rankings in the rubric are a little bit different. I have Life is Strange and Chrono Trigger as like 2 and 3.
I thought the rubric really helped me because it helped me like to actually figure out what I liked more than just like how I felt about things after playing it, which is kind of what was happening for me in the rankings.
Yeah.
So
this game for me grew on me tremendously. Early on, I was not the biggest fan of this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we first did the rubric or whatever, I had Dragon Age actually below Obra but looking back, coming back and thinking about it a little bit, like, okay, I think this is better. Still a D for replayability or playability because it's what happened to you, Stormrage. You know, it's just not cool. Like, honestly, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think this is a game that generally has like some really high highs and some pretty low lows.
Yeah.
And I think if they had just another pass and they just cut out a bunch of stuff that isn't fun, this game would be so good.
I think a lot of the Orzammar stuff should have been like optional in a way.
the more I look at my rankings and having Origins and Mass Effect 1 basically being right next to each other, I think makes a ton of sense because they're both very much like, we have a good idea, and we did a pretty good job of kind of getting the idea across, but this game could be better.
It's a good first draft.
I think they're both good second and third drafts. I mean, I think Dragon Age Origins is a fantastic game. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
I think Mass Effect 1 is a fantastic game.
I think the main reason that I would probably put Mass Effect over Dragon Age Origins is
one, you could play it.
I could play it, yeah. And two, the sheer time commitment. Like Mass Effect 1, even if you do like a full completionist run, is not that long of a game. It can be done in and out in like 20 hours.
Yeah, it's a tight game.
Yeah, and like there's so little, even in the side quests that are like not fun, there's no point where you're like stuck. Boy howdy, Orzammar is just so long.
That I think is what I like more about Dragon Age than Mass Effect. I think I like all the stuff. I really enjoy the stuff and all the stuff that's in the game and the world building that's in the game and like the side stuff that's in the game. And I just love that in a game. And so I think that actually is one of the reasons I like Origins more. And it's just, I mean, honestly, part of it is just a nostalgia feel. I just, have
for sure
good feelings about this game. And, I probably forgive things of it that I wouldn't forgive of other games. And that is just how it is. I think, I think if I came to it like you and Matt are coming to it now, I'd probably give it a much different ranking than I did after playing it through the first time after I got out of the Navy, and then playing it through, a second time during the pandemic, and then a third time now with you all. Like, it's just, those are different kinds of moments. And so, yeah, I think that really does kind of affect how I approach the game.
The problem is like replaying this game, like the further we get away from the game, it's going to be harder and harder for it to be able to replayed. Which is really unfortunate.
There's a reason I played it in 2010, 2020, and 2025, Matt.
I know.
Like there were decades in between those playthroughs.
Yeah. Especially 2020, yeah.
I mean, so like I played it through in 2010 when I was it was 2009, I think, or 2010, one of those two. When I was in college after I got out of the Navy. And then I played it again like a decade later during the pandemic because what else was I gonna do? And then just got to play through it again here. So yeah, it's not a casual playthrough kind of game. Like you don't just like approach like, oh, you know what? I have like a little bit of time on my hands. I'm gonna just go and knock out some Dragon Age. Where you can just be like, I'm gonna go play Mass Effect, and then you're done with it in a month, you know, with casual playing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
No, I definitely think that they're both very interesting games from the same studio. That would have been awesome if EA had never acquired them. I think we all can agree.
I just hope that. I hope they do the same thing in Mass Effect 2 or Dragon Age 2 they do in Mass Effect 2 with the loot / equipment.
There's some very cool things that get done with not necessarily. You'll see. I don't want to give the game away with some of the stuff, so you'll see it very quickly how they kind of change certain things. I'm really excited to hear you guys kind of talk about it. I'm excited to go dive in and play. I'm playing a rogue this time. I've never played a rogue before in a Dragon Age game, and so I'm pretty excited about playing a rogue this playthrough. So I played a mage last time I played Dragon Age 2, and so I'm playing a rogue this time. So
I'm currently rolling a mage right now, and it's interesting.
All right, should we call it a podcast? Call it a game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening, and we'll talk at you again next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.